Hello and welcome to Geekatplay Studio Tutorials. In these tutorials, I'm going to overview function editor. If you want to look on more in details how function editor works, I recommend for you to go inside Geekatplay Studio, go in our Vue tutorials, and right here you can find the Vue material guide video tutorials, which have it. Let's go scroll down. Look on tutorial list, and we're going in all of these properties for the material specifically, so it's take a long kind of overview. Well, it's going more in advance in details. So right here what we're going to do is just overview of function editor. Function editor is what called universal kind of modification that you can, by using visual nodes, control almost any operation inside the Vue, from animations, material animations, atmosphere, and all these options you can connect it. Almost any time when you see icon for function editor or on the bottom right here, you can enable function editor for almost any properties, and it can work this way. So one thing what I want to do right now is, for example, inside the materials, you can access as well edit function this way. So you have multiple ways you can access for different properties this visual interaction editor, this visual function editor. Okay, let's increase size and overview interface. This interface will be similar for all other when you're accessing. So if you feel familiar with one, you will feel familiar with all other versions. The one thing on the top you'll notice we have it a graph options. If you click down, you can have it show all graphs, preview, hide preview, show arrows, those teeny tiny arrows, show linked straight lines or curving, and it's based on the you prefer. I like the straight lines, I don't, for example, but if you want to show curves, like right here, you can see how they start curving. It's whatever you used to. Okay, next we have automatic map connect parameters, show real world units, and also preview options similar to the other ones when you preview with function. The next I do recommend for you enable. This will show additional properties. For example, if let's go right here, create terrain, and you notice we have it options where we can publish parameters, but also right here we can connect to the specific parameters. To connect to them, we need to see options. For this, we can enable show parameters connectors, and you can notice when I zoom in, we have those parameters showing right on the side. So you can enable this by checking this tab. Next we'll have it cut, copy, paste. We have it undo, redo. We also can create meta node or ungroup meta nodes. The meta node it's help you to select a very complex function, put them together, publish some parameters so people can access it, and you can reuse those meta nodes. So it will help you to create very complex but at the same time utilize simplicity of visual editing. We also have the frame option to zoom to select it, zoom in, out as well. If you're using scroll mouse, you can just zoom with your mouse. Also, if you press Ctrl and hold down and right button on your mouse, you can zoom in. Of course, your shift will kind of pan as well. If you just click right button, you can pan as well. The next two buttons, one will actually showing your node preview, so you can see XY distribution for the node, and next you can function observer, so you can modify and preview on materials as you're working. The nice things about function editors, for example, if you work with the materials or other ones, as when you modify it, you'll notice it will also change in live preview, so it's kind of work very fast and nice in this case. Okay, let's go right here. On the top you have it your output nodes, which is actually give you information, for example, position for your materials, normals, altitude, sea level, slope, orientation. You can add more if you need it by going on your first add nodes, and right here you can select it, the different type of nodes you can control it. The next on the bottom you have your nodes that you control it. You control color of this, alpha, bump, highlights, transparency, reflection, other ones. If you work with the other options like positioning, you also can just select and normally just click anywhere till red kind of frame appear, and you can add all additional options for the output controller. So you can control, as we saw, global transparency that is not currently displaying. You can add all additional effects, diffractions, colors, origins, and additional properties. So think this is the what you're reading values, and here values that you control it. So it's normal as arrow going from top to bottom. There also you have a different ways you can control it. If you need to create new node, you can, or function, you can just click anywhere on a screen as long as red frame displayed, and you can select any other additional options. You can modify, replace them by highlight and click on different, for example, node, noise node, and you notice I replaced noise node, or I can replace with a fractal. So you can replace this way. You can insert between them by selecting the connector and insert, for example, filter or any other properties. You also can go ahead and select it and delete it by press delete key. You also can create and connect it. For example, if you select on top, you go and can connect. One thing you'll notice, we have a different colors of the arrows. You have it red, blue, you have it green, and you also can have it gray color. The red, it will be, think about vector, it's give it us more positioning, more vector based. Blue is numeric, and green is a color, and gray is undefined. So right here, if I look, I know I received in vector information on the positioning. I'll process here inside. I give my output as a number. Also it's help if you roll over, it will show you type number. Okay, for example, altitude. And next we have a color output to control the colors. Also to know the input is mostly controlled by one, with exception if the module specially designed for multiple inputs. However, the outputs you can connect to as many as you want it. For example, right here I can connect bump map, highlights, as long as the same type number input. For example, right here I can go and just continue selecting and connect as many as I wanted to my output node. To remove it, you can select connection, click delete, or just select and drag and release it. So you can disconnect this way. Again, we can select and delete it, which is removed as well. We have a different type of the nodes we can create it. So let's very fast overview them. Again, if you needed to look on more details how they all precisely work, please refer to the our Geekatplay tutorials online. So first, we can create a different input nodes. The one nice about this, we can also create external dependency, which, for example, we can take material and connect that material to the terrain, altitude, or other positions. So we can, or even to the sun position, and we can modify, for example, create highlights. For example, right here, let's go inside on this material. We can go and enable luminosity. So right here we have now luminosity node. We can go select external dependencies, connect this external dependency to sunlight position. Okay, you notice we cannot connect because position it is vector, and this expect number, so we need convert for this one. We need to go select modifier, so the filter, I'm just right here, we need actually select math function, and we'll go to inside conversions or vector operations, and we can go modify convert, for example, decompressor, which just take 3 values. Okay, right here, and you notice decompressor, we can go next, select filter to decompressor, and we'll take Z values, it's how height, and we can connect luminosity to the filter. Instead filter, what I want to do, I want to use it map. On this case, we can control values, and for example, input value, maybe sun can be lowest 0 and highest in a view unit, for example 100, and this will control to our luminosity from dark to bright. So depend, actually let's look right here, set 100 there and 0 there. So upper value, if sun going higher, our luminosity is decreasing. Sun going down, our luminosity will increase for the object. So but this is again using by external dependencies to the sun. We're using special operation for the vector to decompress, take values of the z height, map at these values to our output, and connecting to luminosity. Luminosity will expect values from 0 to 1. And again, right here you can kind of look on this, what numbers, expected numbers, for example -1. So in this case, let's go select -1. Okay, this is kind of helpful. And again, this is just example how you can connect some values and creating. So let's go ahead and delete these ones as example. Okay, next we have an input output. We kind of look on them, and again, these more values, and it will take many hours just to go over those values and experimenting. And this is just overview of function editor. Next we have a noise production, and we're using quite a bit often this noise production when we control distribution of materials. And you have it cellular from chipped crystal, Ranai, all this effect. Okay, as well you have it permanent noise. If you prefer to see what this effect does, I do recommend refer to the view manual when you can look on all these options. As well, I do recommend for you, if possible, go to, if you did not purchase our book but you still can access Vue 7 from ground up. If you're going to inside right here, you can notice we have also reference function nodes reference. So it's free, you can download it from here. What will have it, you have this PDF material document that explain more of these nodes, what they does, and example intensity, what is expecting, what output nodes. And if you're going below, you can notice right here we have it different type of the function, for example for the noise, and how this noise will be distribution work. So you can preview what value expecting and what they will creating on a noise, as well on the fractals. Okay, this is all going from the noise. So right here, let's look. Okay, this math, and of course after we'll have it fractals as well. So this is maybe more visually will help you to see and understand, and you can see how much materials it's packed inside function editors with all these nodes. So it's maybe a little bit hard to go in one short overview tutorial. So and the reason is why I recommend you to refer to this. Again, this is a free document that I created PDF for the support our book, but also they're all free available if you're going to Vue 7 from ground up or Vue from ground up. You can also access this website from our Geekatplay website, and just go inside and download it, these free supplemental materials that will kind of help you to understand how this works. Okay, and this again, we're going to all these nodes. Next, what we have noise, we have fractal. And nice things about fractal, one thing to notice, they added, and we have a new terrain fractal designed for Vue 11 and modified, so it will create much more realistic effect when you work with the terrain. Okay, let me kind of scale so we can preview. On this case, you also have the ability to place the rocks, another effect, and we'll look more in those ones when we start working on specific projects inside the Vue. Okay, next we also can create maps. This is a similar color map like in previous or right here, so you can preload it. The color map, you can right click and edit color map, or you can double click and preload it already one that created previously from collections. You can modify, add your collections to used as well. We also can control image input, In this case, if you have it basic input, like in the material editor, you can look when we use it different materials to create external textures to create materials. So this is, you can control this way. As well, you can create animated, projected, and all different types. We have a filter effect, but this is more than just filter. It's a node that modifying or influence input signal and influenced by output. And you have a different type of the nodes, from environment lookup, recursive with a strata filter, for example, if you need to modify for creating strata for your textures, different type of meta nodes, filter, all this offset effect. So you can see how extensive flexibility there is provided for you. We can also create different type of constant from constant number and randomizing number Boolean, as well as different constant included vectors. So you can modify different constant numbers. We can create a turbulence, and turbulence vector based. And for example, if we're going add turbulence to Perlin noise, we can notice we can actually modifying features, and it's create a little bit more effect of the turbulence and randomizations as well. Let me delete these ones. Notice a turbulence is connected by the vector, and it will produce vector output, so we can connect to the origin, for example, in this case for our effect. Okay, next we have it also different type of the blending. For example, if you have it more than one input, you can select and okay, let me connect. Notice we going to connect by altitude for this. Okay, so I'm going to create grainy so we can look. And right here is output mode. You can preview. We have a different type of the blending. Add max means subtract multiply. So we'll use it depend on what effect we need to prove. And you can create different blending modes as well. You can have it combiner, color combiner, multiple inputs and different. So if you have it combiner, this is kind of nice because you can create as many as you wanted and just keep on adding to your combiner more and more. So you can combine a multiple to one. Okay, next we also have it math type of the node, and we use it before as the compressor. But beside that, you can also see we have different conversion, randomization, trigonometry. We also have it vector operations, and we use it decompressor too. We have different ones. We also have it compressor, so you can take numeric and convert to the vector values. Overall, don't be kind of overwhelmed. I know it's a lot of information here, and when the first time you look, you kind of start scared. But again, if you take one step at a time and you're going through our tutorials, when we slowly kind of start using and exploring function editor, shortly you feel very familiar with all these options, and you feel just right at home. And after some time, you will be wondering how you can do things without using function editor. Okay, and next we also have options to link relationship, and this can be timed. For example, I want to create a relationship when a rocket move it away. I want to change flames on materials. So right here I can actually modify it, how much it's delay effect. So it's time type effect. So you can set offset or other options based on this. So this is more timing delay node. And last one, of course, we have it is meta node. So by clicking we can create new node or modifying new node. So it's options for meta nodes. So right here we can create a meta node and modify. Okay, so for example, let me preload it some other meta node we can open. And for example, right here is 0h strata meta node. We created our own by clicking, so we can ungroup it. Okay, we also can go ahead and preload it meta node. If you need modify meta node, you can zoom in or you can ungroup it as well. Some meta nodes can be locked, like for example this one. You cannot ungroup or do other effect, but if you create your own meta node, you can double click and it will open your meta node for edit. So you notice we have kind of two functions, one with this meta node and another function editor where we can look and modify this effect. How I said before, if you need it, you can lock your meta node from people to open, so it's give you a little bit protection. If you develop your own personal materials and you don't want people modify them or look on them, you can lock it in this case. You also, when you create meta node, you can create outputs so that people can connect directly, or you can lock them. This is a bit more complex, and let's have a special tutorials just on meta nodes and how to set up them. Overall, here's our function editor that you can modify it and edit. You can have it quite a bit complex operations. Beside this, each of the node have their own properties. Overall, just very fast look on some of them. On the bottom right here, you have a preview, different type of preview. Again, if you have an error, you can publish like on meta node so people can connect to them or other ones. You can connect to specific parameters, or if you enable view, you can just drag and connect visually. You have a different type properties as well. Two most common will be its title and description. So you can give a title for the specific node and description so you can know and other options. This is an overview for the function editor, and thank you for watching this tutorial from Geekatplay Studio. Please remember, visit us on the web is www.geekatplay.com.